So it looks like Drake might have just fired a quiet warning shot in 50 Cent's direction, and everything about it is tied to the Diddy situation. Once 50 started pushing harder and louder, shining a big spotlight on all the drama around Diddy, Drake's name got pulled right back into the conversation. And now people aren't just talking about music anymore. They're asking deeper questions. Was it ever really just about songs and beats, or was there always more happening behind the scenes? Because when old stories start breaking open, the internet doesn't move forward, it goes backward. Every old Drake moment gets replayed. Old handshakes. Old parties. Old friendships. Old fallouts. Stuff that used to look normal now starts looking strange when people see it through a new lens. People remember back in the early 2000s when Drake and Diddy looked cool with each other. They worked together, showed love, moved like industry friends. Back then, it just looked like normal hip-hop business. Two big names connecting, studio sessions, respect. Nothing weird. But now, with serious accusations floating around Diddy and that whole freak-off talk, people are going back and rethinking everything. Some folks are saying those industry favors weren't just favors, they came with rules and expectations. And once that idea gets out, people start treating every old clip like it's proof of something bigger. For a while now, the internet has been loud, throwing names into the mix: Usher, Meek Mill, YK Osiris, French Montana. And now Drake's name is getting dragged into that same storm. And honestly, some people say they're not surprised. From the start, the way Drake moved has always made some people look at him sideways. Nobody's saying there's paperwork or proof, but people talk about patterns, vibes, and little clues they believe they've noticed for years. One of the voices that made this whole Drake conversation blow up again was Orlando Brown. Orlando is controversial. Everybody knows that. He said wild things for a long time. But the internet works a certain way. Sometimes the messiest voices still start big reactions, not because people trust them, but because people love drama and headlines. Orlando didn't just hint at Drake. He made personal claims about Drake's private life and talked like he had inside information. That alone was enough to light the fire. Not because there was proof, but because once something hits the timeline, people start hunting for anything that might support it. Some people ignored Orlando right away and said he was just spiraling again. But the internet doesn't just listen, it watches. And when people started replaying Drake's old interviews, music, and public moments, some fans felt Orlando's comments didn't seem as random as they hoped. Then people started breaking down Drake's music. That Girls Want Girls song made people pause when it came out. One line especially had people stopping mid-scroll. Drake later said it was just wordplay, just jokes, nothing serious. But not everyone believed that. Then on For All the Dogs, especially the members' only track, Drake had lines comparing closeness and comfort to being one of the guys. Some listeners said it was just lyrics. Others felt he was leaving things open on purpose. And once fans think a line has two meanings, they don't let it go. It wasn't just the music. Old viral clips came back too. The manicure clip spread everywhere, and social media went crazy. Then people started watching how Drake acts around certain artists. The closeness. The emotion. Especially when it comes to Lil Wayne. Drake praises Wayne like he's untouchable. Some people saw that as pure respect. Others said it felt more personal. And once the internet smells something, it won't drop it. The comment sections got ugly. Full of jokes, rumors, and accusations. And Drake being Drake, he didn't really respond directly. He stayed quiet. But silence lets people fill in the blanks themselves. So more old clips surfaced. One big one was Drake pressing YK Osiris to sing after losing a $60,000 bet. Back then, people laughed. It felt like jokes. But watching it now, some people said the body language felt different. They didn't see it as playful anymore. They saw control, power, a boss showing who's in charge. Then YK's baby mama posted her situation, and social media went wild. One post turned into 100 theories. The clip got reposted like it proved something nobody can actually prove. That's how the internet works. It stacks guesses on top of guesses until it feels like a movie. That's when the Diddy connection gets pulled back in. People say Drake was around some of those Diddy party environments. There's no real proof of anything specific, but rumors keep spinning. The story people tell is that Drake stayed close for a while, until he didn't. Once Drake became big enough to not need industry giants, he started pulling back. Protecting himself. Protecting his image. And some say when power and pride are involved, that kind of pullback creates tension. People also talk about Drake's mentors. Jay-Z is always mentioned. Fans now look back at the song Light Up differently. They say Jay was warning Drake about the industry, how smiles hide intentions, how favors come with strings, and how saying no can turn friends into enemies overnight. And fans believe Drake took that advice seriously. Then 2014 happened. The beat situation. 0 to 100. The story is that Diddy thought the beat was meant for him, Drake used it, and it became a hit. Rumors say Diddy was mad, and things got physical at DJ Khaled's party. Some say slaps were thrown. Whether every detail is true or not, fans point to that night as the real break. But others say it wasn't just about music. It was about power, ego, and control. Even 50 Cent has hinted that there was more happening behind the scenes than the public ever knew. After that, people say the vibe around Drake shifted. He started moving more carefully. Linking with people who had real respect in the streets. That's where the game comes in. Fans believe Drake got close not just for music, but for protection and positioning. Shooting videos in Compton felt like a message, not just entertainment. Then WAC 100 told the story about Drake getting nervous during a Compton shoot, seeing unfamiliar faces, and leaving quickly. WAC said Drake thought something was wrong, but it was actually protection. Whether you believe it or not, people say it fits the bigger story that once the industry gets tense, it doesn't stay in the studio. By 2015, Diddy publicly said everything was cool. French Montana said the beef was squashed. But the energy never felt warm again. It felt fake-friendly. Then there's Cassie. People say Drake talking to her back then could have set Diddy off. With everything Cassie later said about control, fans believe perception alone can create real problems. That's why old tweets and jokes are now treated like clues. Now with everything happening around Diddy and 50 Cent teasing more footage, people are asking uncomfortable questions. Are there more names? More recordings? More stories? And if so, who gets pulled next? Because once dots feel connected, silence doesn't stop the internet. It feeds it. And right now, people aren't just watching Diddy. They're watching everyone who ever stood close, including Drake. So what do you think? Was Drake just trying to survive a dangerous industry full of power games? Or is the internet turning old moments into a brand new story? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to Mike Trip. Hit like. Lock in. Because the next story is already loading. It starts quiet. That's how most big moments do. No loud announcement. No direct call out. Just a move that makes people stop and say, "Wait, did you see that?" And this time, that quiet moment looks like it came from Drake, aimed in the direction of 50 Cent, with the shadow of the Diddy situation hanging over everything. Once 50 Cent began pushing harder, talking louder, and shining a bright light on Diddy's mess, the internet did what it always does. It didn't stay focused on just one name. It spread out. It zoomed out. And before long, Drake's name was right back in the conversation. Not because he said anything new, but because people started remembering old things. And when memories come back all at once, they don't come back neatly. They come back messy. Suddenly, people weren't just asking about music anymore. They weren't talking about hits or charts or tours. They were asking something deeper. Was it ever really just music? Or was there always something else happening behind the scenes that nobody wanted to talk about? Because when stories crack open, the internet doesn't move forward. It rewinds. Old videos get reposted. Old interviews get clipped. Old pictures from parties resurface. Handshakes that once looked friendly now get paused and replayed. Smiles that once felt normal now get studied. And moments that used to mean nothing suddenly feel like they might mean everything. People started remembering how Drake and Diddy used to look close. Back in the early days, they moved like industry allies. Collaborations. Mutual respect. Good vibes. At the time, it looked normal. Just hip-hop business. Big names crossing paths, helping each other out, nothing strange. But now, with serious accusations floating around Diddy and all this talk online, people are going back and rereading those moments. Some fans are saying those industry favors weren't just favors. They believe they came with expectations. With strings attached. And once that idea takes hold, every old clip starts feeling like evidence, even when it isn't. The internet got loud. Names started flying around. Usher. Meek Mill. YK Osiris. French Montana. And then Drake. Again. Some people said they weren't surprised. They claimed Drake's movements always felt different. Not wrong, just different. Nobody is saying there's proof. No paperwork. No hard facts. But people talk about energy. About patterns. About little details they swear they've noticed for years. Then Orlando Brown entered the chat. Now, Orlando is known for saying wild things. Everyone knows that. But the internet has a strange way of working. Even voices people don't trust can still start fires. Not because they're reliable, but because people love a shocking storyline. Orlando didn't hint. He made direct claims about Drake's private life. He spoke like he knew something others didn't. And that was enough. Not enough to prove anything, but enough to make people start digging. Some fans laughed it off. Said Orlando was just spiraling again. But the internet doesn't just listen. It looks for patterns. And once people started replaying Drake's old interviews, songs, and public moments, some felt those claims didn't land as randomly as they hoped. That's when the music came back into focus. Lyrics people once brushed past suddenly felt heavy. Lines from Girls Want Girls made people pause. Drake later said it was just wordplay. Just jokes. Nothing serious. But the internet didn't fully buy it. Then more recent albums came under the microscope. Certain bars sounded open-ended. Not clear. Not direct. Just enough to let people imagine meanings that might not even be there. And once fans decide a line could mean more than one thing, they don't let it go. It wasn't just the songs. Old viral moments resurfaced. The manicure clip spread again. Social media went wild. People watched how Drake interacted with other artists. The closeness. The emotion. Especially when it came to Lil Wayne. Some people saw love and respect. Others saw something deeper. And once the internet picks a side, it builds a whole story around it. The comments turned ugly. Jokes turned into accusations. And Drake stayed silent. But silence doesn't stop rumors. It feeds them. Then came the YK Osiris clip. What once felt like playful teasing suddenly felt uncomfortable to some viewers. People said it looked like power being shown. Control. A reminder of who's in charge. And when YK's personal drama surfaced later, the internet connected dots that might not even belong together. That's when Diddy came back into the picture again. People started talking about parties, environments, rooms Drake might have been in years ago. No proof. No receipts. Just stories that refused to die. Fans say Drake stayed close until he didn't. And when he didn't need industry power anymore, he pulled away. And that's when things allegedly got cold. Fans believe Drake learned early that the industry isn't always friendly. That smiles can hide motives. That favors aren't free. And that lesson might explain why Drake began moving differently. Carefully. Strategically. That's where Jay-Z comes into the story. Fans now hear old advice differently. They say Jay was warning Drake long before anything went public. Warning him to watch who offers help. Warning him that saying no can turn allies into enemies overnight. Then came the beat situation. The party. The alleged confrontation. Whether every detail is true or not, fans see that moment as the turning point. And now, with 50 Cent teasing more information and pushing the Diddy story harder than ever, people are watching closely. Not just Diddy, but everyone who ever stood near him. Including Drake. And that's why this moment feels different. Because this time, the internet isn't just asking questions. It's waiting for answers. Body. 1,000 words to understand why Drake is being watched so closely right now. You have to understand how the internet builds stories. It doesn't need full proof. It doesn't need clear answers. It just needs moments that feel connected. Once 50 Cent started pushing the Diddy situation back into the spotlight, people immediately started wondering who else might be affected. Not because those people did anything, but because they were around. And in the internet's eyes, proximity matters. Drake's name keeps coming up because he didn't just exist in the industry. He moved through powerful spaces. He learned from powerful people. And fans believe he paid attention. People say Drake is smart. Not just musically, but socially. He studies. He watches. He adapts. And when things feel off, he moves away quietly instead of making noise. That's why fans believe his distance from Diddy wasn't random. They think Drake saw something he didn't like. Or felt energy he didn't trust. And instead of calling it out, he stepped back. From the outside, it looked like nothing. Just time passing. But now, people think it meant more. Drake didn't stop working. He didn't slow down. He just changed how he moved. Who he stood next to. Who he linked with. Fans say that's when he started building stronger connections with people who had respect beyond music. That's where the game enters the story. To fans, that connection wasn't just about songs. It was about positioning. Being seen in places that sent messages without words. Shooting videos in Compton wasn't just creative, it was symbolic. Then came stories from WAC 100. Stories about Drake getting uneasy during a shoot. Seeing unfamiliar faces. Leaving quickly. Whether true or not, fans say it fits the idea that Drake doesn't play with his safety. By that point, people believe Drake had learned the industry can turn cold fast. That power shifts. That loyalty changes. And when things go wrong, it's not always public. That's why people think Drake stays quiet when rumors pop up. He doesn't fight the internet. He waits it out. Because responding can make things worse. But silence has a downside. When Drake doesn't explain himself, others do it for him. Fans, critics, bloggers, they all write their own versions. And once those versions spread, they take on lives of their own. That's what's happening now. With Diddy facing serious public pressure and 50 Cent hinting that more information might exist, people are scanning the past. They're watching reactions. Unfollows. Distance. Who speaks? Who doesn't? Drake hasn't said much. But fans notice everything. Who he stands next to. Who he avoids. Who he no longer mentions. And because Drake is so big, even his silence feels loud. Some fans believe Drake is just another artist who survived a dangerous industry by being smart. By learning early. By stepping away when things felt wrong. Others believe the internet is doing what it always does, turning old moments into a brand new story without real proof. Both ideas exist at the same time. To them, Drake's silence isn't guilt, it's strategy. Survival. A smart man staying quiet while the storm passes. Others believe the internet is doing what it always does. Taking old lyrics, old jokes, old clips, and turning them into something bigger than they ever were. Building stories out of vibes instead of facts. And once those stories spread, they're almost impossible to stop. Both sides exist at the same time. And that's what makes this moment uncomfortable. Because in today's world, you don't have to do something wrong to be questioned. You just have to be close. You just have to be in the room. You just have to share history with someone whose name is now toxic. And that's the real lesson here. The music industry isn't just about talent. It's about proximity. It's about who you know, who you're seen with, and when you decide to walk away. And sometimes, walking away quietly doesn't protect you later, it just raises new questions. Right now, Drake is being watched. Not because of something he said, but because of what he hasn't said. Because in the age of non-stop content, silence feels like a statement whether it's meant to be or not. And 50 Cent? He's still poking the bear. Still teasing more footage. Still reminding people that the story might not be finished. Whether that leads to anything real or not, it keeps the conversation alive. It keeps the